Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the southeast corner of the map, playing in blue, we've got 3DB, playing as the Jeanne d'Arc faction. Battling out against him today in the northwest corner in red, representing Team My Insanity, it's Anotand, playing as the English. Welcome everyone to Rocky River. As always, I hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be watching this game today, and we're going to be in for a cracker. You got the, some civilizations, some matchups, they just go really well. You got the English versus the French. Of course, there's a bit of a variation here with Jeanne d'Arc coming into the fray, but it should be a crazy match nonetheless. Of course, there's lots to talk about. We are on the public update preview, which is going to be coming to you in Season 9. Not quite currently the live version, but so much as pretty much a test server for what we have in store coming your way. And what we have coming our way is going to be something that's going to test the waters a little bit. We've had the English play this typical style of a second town centre, maybe fast castle, with a white tower, then to soak up the pressure. And soaking up pressure is exactly what the English do incredibly well. And what Jeanne does is she applies that pressure. And it could be one of these matches where we see Jeanne trying to put and poke and prod, get some villager kills, some damage early on against the English. But we shall have to see. There are some playstyles where it actually sees the English allowing them to do what they want to do. We know often they are going to go for a second town centre into the White Tower. It's not always the case. They can always usually go, they can also go for the Council Hall and get plenty of longbows and put a bit of pressure in terms of their own units. But their bonuses really do lie around those farms, the cheaper farms at that, and the faster gather rate around them when they're placed around a mill. And so it makes a lot of sense for them to play towards that. And of course, early on, they don't have huge amounts of impact, usually about sort of 8, 9, 10 minutes when you run out of sheep, and then you start to see those farms that come into play. So it really works well for them in the mid-game, and it will be the Abbey of Kings. But take a look at this 4B. It's going to be the Chamber of Commerce. It's going to go for more a trading route and I guess more of a greedier route. Now, this is kind of interesting. This actually changes absolutely everything. So if we felt like we know how this game was going to turn out, well, you can throw that out the window, because the Chamber of Commerce, what it does, obviously it scales the economy very nicely. Bear in mind, on the most recent patch, the traders come out cheaper, quicker, from getting these technologies that it's going to be looking to get most likely. And every technology research, you get a free trader, which is very, very nice. What this also does, it delays the first knight to come out onto the field, which allows Anotand more breathing space. And often the English are very greedy anyway. They're typically not making many units, and they're going to just rely on the king from the Abbey of Kings. So B says, you know what, I'm not going to play your game. I'm just going to say, look, you want to boom with 2 town centers? Fine. Well, I'll try and counter it with my trade. We'll see where we go, and we'll meet in the middle later on in the game. So it's relatively likely that it's going to be quiet in the early stages of this game, but that gives us lots more to talk about. And obviously the village is now on stone really does telegraph it will be a second town centre rather than a full feudal age or an extended feudal age for the English. Wheelbarrow has been queued up, and that'll be the first tech that comes in. It's going to be a bit of a delay on that. I mean, it does take a while. It is cheaper for Jeanne, obviously, the cost of it, but a full minute away means that he'll get the Chamber of Commerce. It will be idle for a few minutes unless he decides to train a trader himself, which is probably unlikely because he needs that wood for a production building. But I am kind of curious, how greedy does 3DB go with this? Does he look to, just continue scaling more traders? Because of course you get some for free when you do get a technology researched, but he might also just train them himself. Sometimes you can see Jeanne just utilize the free traders and continue to apply pressure. We'll see today. Alright, B looking to pick a bit of a more safer spot for a market, it seems, just to extend the trading route. Didn't want to venture out too much for the landmark placement. Of course, idle time and walking without a wheelbarrow is a bit of a tricky one. Alright, there's the market being placed down now. Oh, got to be careful here not to lose a scout there, Anotand. Now, on a map like Rocky River, there's plenty of deer camps to be taken. I wouldn't be surprised for B, we've seen it in his playstyle really, that he goes for professional scouts quite often. This is probably quite a nice map for it. There's plenty of food to be gathered in the form of the deer. And considering Jeanne does get cheaper technologies, I think it's probably worth it, because you know, especially with trade, I think Professional Scouts, what it does, it allows jeanne to be greedy with the trade. You know, arguably, generally, jeanne doesn't need Professional Scouts if they're active on the map. They get plenty of units, got map control, but in a situation where jeanne is also trading, means less units, means less map control. And so it really does mean that the Professional Scouts has a lot more value. If you can't take the map, bring the map to you. And there is that second town centre right by that gold vein and wood line, just to offer some protection to where it's needed. Oh, we might need to get out of there. We'll lose that scout otherwise. I think it's too late now. That scout is a goner. And, oh, maybe not. That was a bit lucky. But what that allows him to do now, I think, is he got 2 scouts? No, that's a trader. But the knight comes on in. The king comes on in. Should get the first villager kill. Oh, maybe not. Oh, great body blocking there by B. Hugely well done. And saves that villager from being killed in the end. Not an easy task, considering the... I mean, you know, as RTS goes, I imagine... I feel like Age of Empires 4 is not the most responsive, right? So doing things like that is actually quite tough at times. So great work there by B for the body blocking. Bit of walling around to the back, and he has got his first stable and adds a second stable as well. So it looks like it's going to go very heavy into knights. The question is, will Anotand... Yeah, he's got the barracks coming up soon and starting to wall up as well to protect his economy. It's a very typical opening, just obviously slightly different with the trading in play. And so B kind of, I guess, in a way, trades in the early pressure, the earlier timings of the pressure for the trade. I'm kind of curious, is he queuing up paid traders? No, not yet. Not yet. Alright, well, in any case, I would like to say a very big thank you, by the way, everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Special shout out, of course, as always, to the YouTube channel members and the Twitch subscribers. And also now, the YouTube super thankers. Thank you so much. You guys have been supporting individual videos like that, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. If you, you know, have been enjoying the content and you haven't already, and I'd really recommend subscribing, because we're going to have plenty more casted games on the channel. I only ever cast or upload the best ones, rather, to YouTube. I cast plenty, but I pick and choose which ones I feel like are good games to showcase, and they make it onto YouTube. So you know that if you see a thumbnail or a video title from me, a video posted, that in all likelihood it's going to be a decent one, a good one, hopefully. Obviously, it's a bit subjective what counts as a good game, and I take that responsibility. But hopefully I have a good choice on it, so you know you got the security that you watch a video and it should be a good one. You don't want to waste, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to find a game that's not even all that good in the end. So there's that. But yeah, huge thank you for you guys supporting the channel. Now, so we've got, you know, a bit of running around, not too much going on. Obviously, B trying to protect his trade as best as possible. Not much more to it than that at this stage, really. And has he got Professional Scouts coming? Yeah, he does have Professional Scouts, so we kind of expected it, really. It does fit into the way that B likes to play the game, but also it makes a lot of sense in terms of the strategy that's been chosen to bring the food on the map to him. Okay, so now it looks like he's actually starting to train the traders himself. Yeah, he's paying for them, so he's scaling pretty well. But looks like Anotand might be opting for the castle age himself. He's got a patch of farms already, 8 there around the mill. Very nicely done. And certainly knights and jeanne just running around to see what value they can get. But not too much action just yet expected. But what we will see... So I have this saying, right, in Age of Empires 4 games, there's always going to be action, one way or another. It's just about timing. And actually, when there is a bit of a, I guess, quiet phase in the early game, if there's lots of booming in terms of population, what that does actually usually mean is that in the mid to late game, there's a lot of action because, you know, they can afford a lot of army, right? So we can expect a bit of quietness now, but it's just more of a quiet before the storm. Surely that storm will be coming soon, although maybe not so soon, because the English are actually going for the King's Palace. This is super greedy. Going for a third town centre, quite likely we're going to go to the late game now, and I'm very excited for that. The reason why is because there's one change that we really have to talk about. So, of course, we talked about this as being on the public update preview, so there have been new changes, and one thing to talk about from the university. University's had, you know, quite a few changes. One in particular is a new technology called silk bowstrings. Now, that has a cost of 400 wood, 400 gold, and takes a minute to train, to research, I should say. But it's only available in the Imperial Age, so we need that late game. But what it does, it gives a +2 range bonus on archers, a +1 range on mounted archers. And you might be wondering, well, that's okay, that's not so bad, right? Well, it affects Winguard Rangers too. So Winguard Rangers have an incredible amount of range. They have 9 range as a starting, significantly more than a longbowman, would you believe? And so, you know, +9 as a starting, plus another 2, makes it +11. It's incredibly powerful. Like, hopefully we'll see it, because I just want to demonstrate how crazy it looks on the screen. They're literally shooting from one edge to the other. It's absolutely bonkers. Bear in mind as well, you know, we did see a lot of crazy cheese plays with the Chinese, with the Chukunu on stone walls. I wouldn't be surprised to see in the late game for the English if we can get some wall creeps, stone wall creeps with those Winguard Rangers on top of them. Especially when you consider in this matchup, Jeanne, the French, the Rus typically do love getting a lot of cavalry, which of course have a tough time with stone walls. Alright, he's looking to get another second barracks here, Anotand, recognizing that these knights, there's quite a few of them. B not wanting to dive in just yet, but a third town center is super greedy. Now the issue with B's economy is that he's got trade, but 2 town centers generally is quicker to pay back, in the short term at least. B is starting to produce from both trade posts though, the Chamber of Commerce and the market. But the issue is a bit behind on economy, right? Because he has had to make units, or he decided to make units, and he didn't keep the trade running right from the beginning. So he'll be looking to wall up, and yeah, he wants to play the late game as well, which is a very dangerous way to play Jeanne. I mean, she does have some great French Royal Knights. Question is whether they will be enough to deal with what the English can throw at us. Oh, the king going to start sniping these traders, which is not ideal. And he has lost a couple, actually, to be fair, B. He's about to lose another. Down she goes, but does lose the king in return. Yeah, I guess it's probably worth it there for Anotand in the long term. I'm kind of curious to see how many farms he's got. Yeah, he's going to seal up another patch of 8. Looks to get plenty more upgrades. Now, these new sort of icons is pretty cool. This is the mining technology, the second one. This is the lumber preservation, second wood technology. And then you've got the second food technology upgrade. So they have changed the icons slightly. Something we're going to have to get used to. But you can see definitely a development in Age of Empires 4. I'm super happy with the way direction things are going, because, you know, of course, with Age of Mythology on the cards, things have slightly changed in terms of the player base, and there aren't as many tournaments, it seems, now for Age of Empires 4. But I think longevity-wise, the game is incredibly detailed. It's incredibly, you know, I feel like the fans are going to be very loyal to this game, and sure, it's a bit of a lull at the moment, but players will come back from Age of Mythology. I'm very confident about that. And the question is, you know, when a new RTS game comes out, you do often see a spike for it. The question is whether they can maintain it or not, and we'll have to see. Age of Mythology is a classical title. It's a game that people have grown up with. But I still have faith. I think that Age of Empires 4 will still be a very prominent game and do very well for itself. But we do want to see a little bit of improvement in terms of the tournament scene, maybe. Of course, it's not a huge deal for casual players, and maybe a lot of you guys watching this channel. In fact, you know what? I would like to know, actually. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you love just watching general casted games, or do you like watching tournaments? Is it tournaments that gets you excited about Age of Empires 4 games? Or is it mainly just you know, the general matchups and the content we put out? Because we haven't casted really any tournament games, and to be fair, so we're not really a tournament channel or a casting channel for tournaments as such. But what do you guys prefer watching? Do you prefer watching just good games that you know they're going to be really cool from the ladder games, or do you like watching tournament games just generally? Which do you prefer? It'd be pretty cool to get your opinions on it. I mean, ideally, obviously, we'd like to see both. Now, that is a lot of spearmen from Anotand, obviously expecting so many knights, and it's a bit tricky for B, right? He just doesn't want to take that engagement. Really can't, to be fair, because he's got feudal age knights versus veteran spearmen, which also have the network of castles bonus on them, so the extra attack speed would be devastating. This is not a fight that B can really take until he gets the castle age. At the very least, as it happens. Now, Anotand looking to pick up some of those relics as well. A bit tricky to do so, though, with how much map control B has at the moment. Plenty of deer carcasses there, ready to be taken. Not needing a farming transition, but when he does need a farming transition, it might be a little bit sticky, right? Because it looks like he's going to be trying to be aggressive in with the Royal Institute and the Castle Age now. He's done enough. He's had enough of waiting. He said, look, you know what, Anotand, you've had enough breathing space, enough time to boom. It's now time to feel the wrath of our Royal Knights. They can get cheaper technologies and ignore age requirements, so bloodlines, royal bloodlines, likely to come in soon. But still, against this number of spearmen, it's going to be dicey. Also adding in those crossbowmen. Plenty of rangers, which actually does leave a nice transition to the Imperial Age if he does want to go for longbowmen. But of course, there is only one unit we really want to see in the Imperial Age from the English, and that will be the Winguard Ranger. Willow, it's not going to quite work for him. The knights will get out of there and probably going to dive on that monk in the end. Yeah, Scholar, monk. There's the monk called it. Alright, it takes him out pretty quickly, obviously. Oh, that's a lot of spearmen. Veterancy's not in just yet. Oh, ticket prematurely. Loses 3 knights. Pretty devastatingly there. Like, that's very expensive. Now, sure, Jeanne will have the discount with the consecration, but yeah, big boost on that, actually. 140 food, 100 gold is how much it usually costs for a knight. And consecration makes it 105 and 105 food, 100 gold. So, pretty good savings on the food there. Now, there is an upgrade for it as well, so you can get the consecration to affect the gold cost too. Veterancy for the knights are in. Royal bloodlines about to come in as well. Anotand just expanding those walls, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him shift towards an Imperial Age. He's got plenty of gold. Probably needs to trade that in. He's getting some more farms. Oh, could clash here. B. Oh, he didn't attack move, so he just moved regularly, and it meant that the spearman got the first few hits. He will deny the walls going up, kills a couple of villagers, but more spearmen on hand here for the English, and this is not a fight that B will want to take. And even as he retreats, those crossbows get some good damage. He split the knights. Oh, this could be a big trap. Wait, Anotand, he's going to go for the trap. The villager's going to wall on the right side. Is he going to be... I think he's trapped. Oh, no, there's so many knights here. Those spearmen. I mean, he might be able to burn through because it's not fully completed, these walls. But he's still going to lose a couple. There we go. Another 3 knights fall. Absolutely huge. And the numbers just started to dwindle here for B. Sure, he's in the castle age. Royal bloodlines not in just yet. And there's just so many spearmen on hand here for Anotand. Of course, it has delayed his Imperial Age, but it's made sure he survived. Now, relic-wise, Anotand has picked up 1, B not committing to a monastery just yet, if I'm not mistaken. Can we see one? Is there a monastery just yet? Doesn't seem like it. No, indeed there isn't. Venturing onto the berries on the front. It's got quite a few villagers here on deer camp, so he's definitely going to need to transition to wood. He's going to need a farming transition. That might hurt him a little bit, gotta say. Spearmen getting involved now. Knights moving across the map in the middle. My question is, can he keep an eye on these B? He will not want to run into those spearmen. Any mistake here could be costly. Gonna get the range attack, steeled arrow for the crossbows. Spearmen chasing, crossbows behind. B should be able to get out of there. Of course, he's got the mobility, so he can do that. But the big problem for B is really, when you're playing this sort of playstyle, keeping your enemy's army away and just dragging them across the map, it usually has to be if you're achieving something back home, right? Maybe thinking about tech up to the Imperial Age, maybe, you know, greater economy, but he just sort of stalled on the economy scaling sort of thing. And Anotand's economy is a lot better at the moment. But, you know what? With the Royal Knights, you never really know, because they're incredibly powerful, especially in the Imperial Age. They can do a decent job against spearmen even. It's not the most ideal army to go up against, spearman crossbow, but we shall see how they fare. It will be the Winguard Palace. You love to see it. I mean, this is probably why this game will make it to YouTube. It's been a bit quiet, but with this in play, maybe things should heat up. Oh, a couple of knights going to get trapped there. They managed to make it out there alive. A couple of them. So B going to try and break through on the west side, but I mean, even if it breaks through the palisades, I mean, there are some spearmen waiting, although there aren't huge numbers. Oh, this group on the right is going to get decimated. Unfortunately, he does manage to get away with 3 of them. And with Chivalry, he could potentially heal on up, but the crossbow's on hand on the west side to protect, and this is looking a bit dicey. Getting a network of citadels as well, so the English really on hand to defend well in this situation, and B just really struggling to get damage in. And this, I guess this is why Jeanne has to be aggressive in the early game, because And with the English now in the Imperial Age, this is going to become even tougher for B. He's got to find a way to get to the Imperial Age himself. It's going to be a tough ask, though. And crossbows will get potentially a couple of kills. No, he managed to get away with the vast majority of knights, but he lost a few without really achieving too much. Now, the big problem is, of course, the high cost of food on these knights means that Imperial Age is, way off the cards for B. The English farm's working so well. Always going to take this fight here. Jeanne, leading the lines, is on the ranged version of herself. Mounted archer. Will clear up these spearmen in the end. They are veteran spearmen at the moment, so he can effectively take a Castle Age fight. But I'm sure Anotand will be looking to get those Imperial Age upgrades soon. There we go. There we see them. They have the first look at the Winguard Rangers, the new Winguard Rangers. Look how much range they have. 9 tiles. Uh-oh. B has got to get out of there. He's got a couple of Jeanne's riders, which is cool to see, by the way. This is an important detail. So, in the most recent patch, the public update preview, you can now train Jeanne's riders from the stables. The reason why that's such a big thing is this unit's actually pretty solid in terms of the situation we have at the moment. Although, it answers one of the problems. You've got Jeanne's riders, who's got actually a bonus attack against crossbowmen. You can see the +7 there. You've got 21 base damage now, and +7 versus crossbowmen. So that would do well against the crossbows that the English have. The biggest problem, though, is these spearmen. How does B deal with those? Maybe Arbaletier. The only issue with Arbaletier themselves is that, well, they just get completely outranged by longbowmen or Winguard Rangers, you name it. He's going to get some stone walls as well to protect himself here. Anotand slowly carve up the map. But yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more Jeanne's riders on the field now. Looking good in blue. Anotand just poking and prodding on the right side. That's a lot of spearmen. He's going to take this fight. It's a bit of a dangerous one, right? They're going to lock horns here and in the middle. Jeanne's riders. Oh, but this is the thing. Jeanne's riders going to get on top of the crossbows really nicely. And that should clear it out. But on the right side, spearmen absolutely decimating these knights. And it's a massive choke point with the berries. But look at this. Jeanne's riders will take out the vast majority of these crossbows. And this is the thing. You leave the crossbows exposed. And Jeanne's riders takes them out massively. That's exactly what they've been designed for. But probably very situational, right? It's not often you see the army being split like this. In the end, the knights do take a favourable trade against the spearmen. And you know what? In the blink of an eye, Anotand has lost his army. This can happen as the English. You get caught out of position, and you get absolutely decimated. If you thought this game was over earlier because of the numbers, think again. The army numbers really dwindled. Although, having said that, Anotand should have the ability to replace it very quickly, with 3,000 food coming in per minute. Knights now coming on the right side, all looking to heal up as well. Good number of Jeanne's riders remain. And just needs to take out the spearmen mass if he can. There's still a good number of them, and they are elite spearmen now at this point. Up against Castle Age units who's taking this fight. It's going to be an okay one because of the numbers, but still not the most optimal. I feel like Anotand should be okay with that trade in the end. He does lose a lot, but he does take a lot of HP off these units. And he's still behind those palisade walls. It's going to get incendiary arrows, which is definitely going to help these ranged units for sure. He's really lacking on units though. He's got to get pumping here. Now he does have the keeps to be able to produce as well if he wants to with these units. Look at the range of the... Look, this is exactly what I wanted to showcase. Look at the range of the Rangers. Say that 10 times. That's absolutely devastating. And he's got it. He's got the upgrade. He's got the 11 tile range. He's going to research arrow volley as well, rather. So 11 tiles range on these Winguard Rangers. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at it. The knights are literally on the other end of the screen. I don't think even B could see that. I don't think B could see the Rangers. But they're attacking him. Absolute madness. Spearman chasing. And it's going full cavalry at this point. B, typical French style. It makes a lot of sense, right? You can't really go ranged units, so you're just going to be outcompeted, right? They're just going to be a lot better. Rangers, are they going to engage? Yeah, he sees it just about. But those Rangers are doing so much damage behind all of this spearman bracing and in the middle of the map. Okay, just a bit of torch damage coming on out. But, ultimately, these knights are killing most things that are on the field in terms of the spearman numbers, despite there being elite upgraded. And it's going to be on top of the crossbows and the Rangers. Now, we do start to see some Winguard footmen, which is actually a really strong army composition Winguard Footman Rangers, everything from the Winguard could work really well for him here, because the Winguard Footmen have a +5 bonus versus cavalry. So you can imagine you've got the range from the Rangers, 11 tiles, and then you've got the +5 bonus attack from the Winguard Footmen. This could be painful. He's also going to go for a bit of a stone wall protection. Maybe he's going to get the Rangers on top of them, and that's hugely significant, because what that achieves, it gives another +2 range on the Winguard Rangers, despite not really needing in the situation, because these knights are obviously a lot less than 11 tiles range, or 13 tiles range it would become. They're much closer than that, but he's going to clear up most of this. B, though, needs to get to the Imperial Age if he can, but he just can't stop producing units. He might take out a lot of villages here, though. Anotand, he's going to suffer here. And you know what? The economy has scaled well for B. B has found his way back into the game in crazy fashion. Not something I would have anticipated. I think he just won that fight massively earlier on. That's really brought him back into the game. Spearman numbers starting to dwindle. These Rangers very exposed. A couple of Winguard Footmen trying to tank as much as they can to allow their brethren to retreat. He did lose all the villagers, and that stone wall tower didn't go up in the end. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to commit to many villagers to build that. And do you know what? B, though, his numbers starting to dwindle. He can't stay there for too much longer. The spearmen have started to brace and hold that position. B does now have to head back home. He's suffered a lot there, but he has held the English back for now, at least. He's actually getting the berries right under his nose, would you believe? Jeanne needs to be careful. But he needs to find a way to regroup and get those army numbers. This is the problem, though. He needs to find a way to get to the Imperial Age. Now, it looks like he has traded some. He needs to get some food in, that's for sure. He's almost there. Now, Red Palace could work quite well for him, but he's got to get the Red Palace up. Having said that, the Red Palace should be outranged by the Winguard Rangers, would you believe? Double shot? Yeah, that's enough to two-shot a knight. That's pretty heavy. Obviously, things will change if he does get to the Imperial Age and some more upgrades, although there aren't that many upgrades you can get more for his knights. I mean, obviously, it's the elite upgrade, but he's already got Royal Bloodlines, courtesy of the Royal Institute. Then you get a big raid here on the west side. Knights should get some good villager kills. Nicely done, but it leaves him a bit exposed down the middle, and he's really pushing on forward. Look at that number of elite spearmen. He's going to go for the Red Palace, and this could be dicey. I mean, where's he placed it? He's placed it near where the trade route is, and yeah, I think Anotand right here is likely he's going to go for the trade route. He's going to try and deny it and stop it going, and if he does that, then the economy for B will be absolutely floundering. Oh, there's not enough villagers here to build that quick enough. There's spearmen here. Obviously, knights on the west side, they were distracted going for the villager kills, and Anotand took it upon himself then to be a bit more aggressive. That's exactly what he's going to do. Now, this choke point actually doesn't really help B all that much. The spearmen will love that. Look at the Rangers. They're ranging those villagers from such a long distance. And this is not ideal. This is an engagement here for B before the Imperial Age upgrades come on in. Perfect timing for Anotand to take the fight before the Imperial Age upgrades come on in. The Red Palace does go up in the end. But, you know what? This could be a bad fight. I mean, Anotand is actually going to back away for now. Doesn't want to fight underneath the Red Palace, understandably so. And now we're going to get to see the elite upgrade for the Royal Knights. But that can't come in quick enough. Oh, but you know, round the back, he's done a lot of damage here. He does have a cannon emblazonment inside this keep. But Anotand, he's lost a handful of villagers, to say the least. He's lost 47 in total in the game. Oh, one spearman getting some good value there on those traders. He's going to have to sort that out. But you know what? This Knight Raid has worked out really well for B. They're still kind of hanging in the balance this game. This game is by no means over. Granted, B is struggling on food still. He does have some farming transition, but not huge amounts. And he needs more. He's going to add in a second town center as well, just to try and build up that village count. He's going on the west side, going for stone. He's going for the berries. Yeah, he's really struggling for food. Oh, no. Anotand is going for that. We talked about it. We said how the Chukunu have done this in the past. And looks like he's gonna use it, right? If you've got it, might as well use it. Winguard Rangers currently have 11 tile range, but if they get on top of those stone walls, that'll make it 13 tiles. And that completely obliterates that trade route, right? This stone wall is just devastating. He doesn't even wall in the market, the trade post. He just, you know, gets a wall there, lets the Winguard Rangers do everything else. But you know what? There's not that much in the way of frontline here, so he might lose the first engagement, but there's another batch of spearmen heading that way. Now, the Elite Royal Knights upgrade is in play. So I'll do significant damage. There's still so many spearmen. Winguard Rangers need to back away. Now, he does have a gate there, so should be able to get on top of the wall. Now, the network of citadels bonus is activated. So this... Oh, God, this is going to be devastating. I mean, there's spearmen in this choke point. This is not a choke point for B to fight in. No, no, no. And these Rangers are absolutely devastating. He's got 13 tiles range. Not that he needs it right now. but he's got network of citadels, and he does have the ability to deploy the arrow volley. I believe he got the upgrade, but I'm not sure if it's coming up on the user interface. Either way, Divine Restoration comes out for Jeanne. Will it be enough to save these knights? He's trying to take this fight, but there's just way too many spearmen. Anotand keeps on trickling in more, but the problem is the Winguard Rangers. Sure, you take out the spearmen, you take out the ground units, but how do you deal with these guys on the stone walls? It's almost like you can't. On the west side, the villagers having to back away, trying to get a keep. Panic one, a couple of spearmen were poking and prodding, but he's losing his knight numbers down to 19 military B. He's losing everything. Those Winguard Rangers, they're devastating these knights, and there's just no way through it. There's no way to stop it, and now the trade is going to be denied. Spearmen chasing on through. B should be finally pushed back in a crazy game of Age of Empires 4. Huge amounts of macro, huge amounts of economy, but in the end, it is the Winguard Rangers that take over on Rocky River, and I think this has got to be changed. This is looking so broken. I don't know how they fix it, but they've got to find a way, because the Winguard Rangers at the moment looking way too strong. Hope you guys enjoyed this cast game. If you did, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. More importantly, hit the notification bell. Take care, and see you next time.